I want to talk to you real quick this morning about the subject of worry. That is what we discussed yesterday morning from Matthew chapter 6, verses 25 through 34, and that is the subject of worry. I want to give you 4 points real quick from what Christ said in regard to worry. Point number 1 is this: worry shows to God and to others that we do not trust Him. Listen to what the ESV says from Matthew chapter 6, verse 25. Therefore I tell you, do not be anxious. The King James says, take no thought about your life, what you will eat or what you will drink, nor about your body, what you will put on. Is not life more than food, and the body more than clothing? The word worry actually comes from a German phrase which literally means to strangle or to choke. And that is what worry does. In what areas of our life does worry choke out? It chokes out our physical. You know how many times or how many ways that worry affects our physical being? It affects us mentally, where it controls our mind and our thoughts. It controls us emotionally. It can cause anxiety attacks, and then it can control us spiritually, and that it chokes out our dependence upon God. Worry denies God's ownership, denies the fact that God owns it all. Number 2, it denies God's sovereignty, that God is sovereign over us and He is sovereign over the entire universe. And thirdly, it denies the fact that God is going to meet our daily provisions, as said in Philippians chapter 4, verse 19. Number 2, worry shows to God and to others that we do not trust God as our Heavenly Father. So we worry about food, we worry about longevity of our life, of how long we're going to live, and then we worry about clothing. But Christ used three very clear illustrations. He used the birds of the air, He used clothing, and then He used the flowers. And those are perfect illustrations that Christ used, that the birds are not concerned about where their food comes from. They just simply know that their food is going to be there. He used the illustration of the flowers of the field. The flowers of the field grow on their own, and they are so beautiful. And Christ said, look at these lilies of the field and how beautiful they are, that even King Solomon did not look as, in his palace, did not look as beautiful as the flowers of the field. Christ was basically saying it is sinful for us to focus on our lives, on our body and our clothing. And that a person may have saving faith, but not much more than saving faith. Number 3, worry is inconsistent with our faith. Worry is a characteristic of a person that is unbelieving, because Christ said that the Gentiles are the ones that seek after the things of the earth. What was meant by that phrase, Gentiles? Well, it was unbelieving idol worshipers. See, when we place those things that are the basic necessities of our life ahead of God, they become idols in our lives. Then lastly, worry disregards the fact that God knows our future. The prophet Isaiah said, you keep him in perfect peace, whose mind is stayed on thee, because he trusts in thee. Listen to what the Apostle Paul said in Philippians 4, verse 6. Do not be anxious about anything, but in everything by prayer and supplication with thanksgiving, let your requests be made known unto God. Well, God bless you. Hope this is an encouragement to you. And don't worry, be happy.